What was I texting you? The hardest thing I ever had to do.
It was so stupid, dude. It was moving the clip button on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh my god, dude, the watermark on our videos for clip.co.
This buddy who works at Sarah V, they're basically like, hey, we like what you do, want to work with you. That we're learning is expensive. Normally expensive is a bad way unless you are the store owner, which in this case we are. We're talking like for like 4 videos and like a sponsored video.
Oh?
Do we ever want to talk about the mystery of David Sachs?
Oh, this would be a good time to talk about it.
Welcome to the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about smart nonsense.
He remembers things.
I almost clapped and I'm like, wait, we were gonna do something, and on the fly, dude. Remember that one?
How do you like my athleisure hoodie?
Well, I don't like the way you touch yourself when you say it, but
yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Welcome back, Pop. April the 5th, April
Dude,
Fools.
I watched.
The podcast is on.
I watched Alexander, The Making of a God on Netflix. Good miniseries, maybe 5 parts. Didn't realize. So he was an ancient Greek, but like, what is? Oh fuck! Oh, what did the?
Hey, Pop.
Hold on.
Take your time, dude. We got all day.
Right.
I see you stressing. Don't worry about it.
I am stressing, dude. This tip of my tongue. What were they called? It's like Greece. Greece is a bunch of islands, basically. So it was never really united. They just kind of like get these haphazard unifications. And Macedonian. Nice, dude.
Coy with the applause.
And live, dude. Sweeten that puppy for me. Yeah. So he was Macedonian, which is just like some mainland higher up Greece area. Became king at 20 and then fucking took over the world. Spoiler alert. This is 2,500 years ago. But I didn't realize that they didn't have gays and straights.
It's incredible to me that I don't know where you're gonna take a thread, and that is not what I thought. And I feel like that happens once an episode or so.
Right. Well, no, that's the thing.
What?
It's not my fault. This is Alexander doing it to me, dude. I didn't know that was coming either. He surprised me with this because I thought he was just working out with his buddy, and then they start making out, and I'm like, what the fuck's that? And they're like, hey, they didn't really think of like gay and straight. It was all just sex. It's like, whoa, dude, fucking nice. So that's what your little my body thing made me think of.
That's how we got here. My athleisure.
Yeah, because you were rubbing yourself like Alexander.
Oh, okay.
What do I think your athleisure though? Is that the original question?
Yeah, but that ship sailed.
Oh,
that ship. I think now I know.
Well, I will say this though. Let me build off that. Alexander, I like it because I get to see what they lived like. This was this was like 300 BCE, so before Christ. They used to all wear sleeveless. So I'm not trying to comp by my Lindy,
dude,
but
dude, as you've been doing more of these like Twitter breakdowns, I see sometimes in your breakdowns you go to your channel and I see one of your shorts and you're wearing that white Champion sleeveless thing that you wore every day. And I forgot. I think there's this mechanism. It has to do with like PTSD where your brain like kind of like blacks out parts of the past that you just don't need to remember. I forget that you wore a $5 Champion sleeveless every single day. And before that, you were shirtless.
Yeah,
not your best.
The shirtless
Consume creates better for you. Consume create sweatshirt is better for you.
No, I do like it. It's fraying here because I chew on the.
Because you chew on it like a monkey. Um, where do we wanna go, Pop? There's so much happening.
Well,
A
you
lot of
were in a
lows, a lot
trough,
of
dude.
highs.
What's funny is,
You were beginning of the week.
oh, yeah.
The reason I keep saying it is because I just had to, and we gotta have him on the pod, but my brother Jack, I just clued him into the trough because he and I have been in a trough all week. And I guess for the new listeners around here, it's basically this is physiology, like this is just a fact.
Mhm.
But your dopamine runs at some like average level all the time. And so when you have a dopamine peak, that needs to be offset by basically the inverse, a trough, so that it always kind of resets to average.
Mhm.
We've seen this over and over and over again where we have a fantastic week, way above dopamine levels. Everything's going right, wins everywhere. And then the next week, it's just like everything couldn't be worse. And so you
Right.
just have to like remind yourself, zoom out, average dopamine, you're fine. You're in a trough right now. You'll be fine. So
Right. I gotta close the windows sometimes when the troughs hit because you you
no,
can't
no,
can't risk
no.
slipping
There's a
out of those.
hotline for that, Pop. Don't do it.
I did, dude. I
Don't
did
do
think I
it.
was gonna die this morning. I'll tell you that.
Why?
There's an earthquake. Earthquake. I,
Oh,
I,
no. No.
well,
New York City earthquake.
yeah. I mean, I got a pretty big building, and I'm on the ninth floor, and the whole thing.
You're not on your
It's
apartment?
just like
Yeah, but it's wide.
she's. That's what I'm saying. Like for something to shake that, I'm like, oh, that's got to be something big. Um,
Wouldn't you rather be on 9 than 1, though? You'd be at the top of the rubble.
all I knew was I moved towards the center of my apartment. I don't know.
That's not okay, we need earthquake, education in New York. I think you're supposed to get in the bathtub or something,
I just, yeah, I don't know. I thought some like car
under a
crashed in the
table,
building or something. Um,
in a door.
Hold on, I wanted to say something. Oh, the funny thing with the troughs is it's kind of like two chicks if they live together. Like eventually their cycles will sync, but when their cycles aren't in sync, it's kind of funny because like one will be super happy and the other one's super sad. It's kind of what happened here. It was like our troughs are offset. So like right now, I didn't know you were in a trough. I didn't know Jackson in a trough. I'm just fucking hooting and hollering, having a good time over here. And then I hear that you're spiraling. You're a clown that lost his way, and it's funny to me. And then when I'm in the trough, fucking you guys are just like, hey,
Well, yeah,
top of the
you were in
world.
a trough earlier this week because we were like, "We need to hit a sales goal," and you're like, "We're not doing it. Like, I'm gonna fly out there and we're just gonna do it in person." So you were in that trough, but then we get on the phone with Jack, and he's like, "Actually, like, we're on pace. Like, I'm happy with the pace we're on. If we do this for 30 days, blah blah blah." And you were like, "Oh, okay." So he kind of talked you off that. It
Well,
was yeah,
I
but then Jack and I have been in this kind of like payroll hiring trough, and we kind of dug out a little bit this morning, and then we closed some good businesses this afternoon. So like, kind of,
dude,
I don't know, dude. It's
extrinsic
just,
game, dude. Um,
ugh.
yeah. I spiraled for a bit because I basically had a panic attack that I'll never get out of the business, and I'm like, hey, dude, I got 10 days, then I'm out.
What-
I'm quitting. It
yeah,
was
and
basically
what
me
I
firing myself. Yeah.
what I think that was and is we just gotta play. We know this, but like we gotta play to everyone's strengths. And you being wrapped up in the day to day of clipped, not it.
It might actually hurt clipped if anything. I really like
It's
Loom
just
though. I'll tell you that. I like doing these Loom breakdowns of stuff we're doing. We'll
right,
see.
product stuff.
But good news on the company front. While we're still in it, who knows? Might never get out. Uh, we're slowly but surely making it to the big leagues.
Oh,
What do I mean by that?
oh,
They're
yeah.
there. We've had this principle for a while. All right. When we never want to do sponsored videos. We're just like, hey, too much gabagool. It's a lot of like effort. We
Gabagool. That was good though.
um yeah, there's context there, but um fuck. A lot of gabagool with like, hey, you just don't want to do the back and forth with people. Let's just rip on our own shit,
You're
promote our own
promoting
shit.
somebody else's product. Everything takes really long.
Right.
Blah blah blah.
We might make an exception. The exception is this buddy who works at CeraVe, skincare product. They are a subsidiary of L'Oreal, which is like a big company, owns a bunch of brands. They're basically like, hey, we like what you do, want to work with you. One, on the creator front, which is like, can we do like a sponsored video and you just like shout us out and talk about pimples or something? And then two, we want a bigger campaign about pimples and acne and stuff. Uh, and we want you to help produce like fucking 100 videos or like whatever, like 4 videos, but like 100 different variations of that video. And that we're learning is expensive. And expensive in a good way. Normally, expensive is a bad way unless you are the store owner, which in this case we are. Um,
That's such a gabagool roundabout way to get there.
yeah, well, we're basically
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Actually, what I think it is it's really nice to have basically a manager or an agent,
oh
which is my
yeah,
brother.
so nice.
It's like you and I are that we're like the talent. We're the consultants for their campaign, whatever. And all this stuff we hate is like a deal Jack is working on cutting.
Right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's nice because technically he has the exact same cut as any agent, but he also runs the company. So fucking two birds with one stone.
Keep it in the
Granted,
family.
he has less context. Like we literally have no idea what to charge for sponsored stuff. But they're gonna present us with an offer. But then like just for context, like big companies they move really, really slowly, but they just have big budgets. So it's like it's so weird, dude. I'm thinking like if I were to do what they're trying to do, I could I could do it 100 times better for 100th the cost. But like,
In a tenth of the
right,
time.
right. Um, it's just weird.
We could do it all
It
next
it'd
week,
be really
but it's
cool.
gonna
Like the goal is basically one. I don't know if we want to say numbers or anything like that, but it's like a lot of figures potentially if it works. Um, then it's like
I actually think well, we don't give a fuck. But the reason a lot of creators don't talk about specific numbers when it comes to this stuff is because it can be used against you in future deals.
yeah, I don't know, but basically like I don't know. We haven't signed like an NDA or anything, but it's like we came into this having no
No,
idea.
it's for your own leverage.
Dude,
I don't know
we
if
fucking got no
it's an
leverage.
NDA
Our
thing.
leverage is this comes out in like a month and a half, which will still be mid project. But like we had no idea coming in, and we're like anchoring ourselves. Like we're talking about like videos. Granted, we didn't know like how many different videos they'd end up needing, but like we would have been not stoked, but like happy with like we're talking like fucking $20,000 like total for like 4 videos and like a sponsored video. And that's literally like a tenth of what this deal actually is. It's it's like
Well, it made very clear to me because we went to VaynerMedia a couple weeks ago. What does he do a year? 350 million.
yeah,
In
revenue.
like it
Yeah.
made very clear to me that when you're playing in these bigger leagues
Right.
and you're doing these big agency deals, like that is
They
how you get to those
they
numbers.
just like they literally have budget that they have to spend. And if they don't spend it, their budget just gets reduced next year. So they're like, we want your number to be bigger. Like
What's the economics of that? That's kind of
it's crazy principal agent. Uh, I
yeah,
don't know.
the
It's just
budgets and surpluses.
but so our incentive is basically
Like
like
I feel like you should get more budget for well, it's kind of like the whole cost plus issue. You should get more budget for spending less and creating more effective campaigns or
dude,
output.
we're
But
making
it's no, it's just
fucking
money. It's
four
just
videos for 200 grand. Like, well, I don't know what it'll end up being, but like it.
knowing us, it won't end up happening.
I
So
know, we're gonna jinx it here, but like, dude, it's just weird. Like, our anchors were so off in this world because we're coming from like literally fighting people over a couple $100. Like, my trough was because I've been battling this one person. I
oh
can't
my
find them an editor, and we're
god.
like haggling over $100, and I'm like, dude, just
One other thing for CeraVe, which we talk about a lot here, right? It's the idea of like going out and trying to like kind of cold pitch your inspirations versus making a great product and then they come to you as fans.
mm,
The latter, that basically having
right.
fans of your great work is way better. CeraVe comes to us and they're like, you guys are the kind of science education experts. We want you.
Yeah.
That's not something we've ever had before.
And what's interesting,
And actually, I think it's didn't Alan kind of come through the woodwork of your all this knowledge we're trying to start sharing on Twitter and
um,
with Clip clients?
no, Alan's just my friend.
It had nothing to do with your Twitter posting.
Uh, maybe I don't think
It
he
might have
has a
put
Twitter. Um,
oh
no, I think
coincidence.
it just like came up because Sarah V, like they're big on TikTok and stuff. He's basically worked like all the biggest creators on TikTok, and one of them is Big Weird World, which is who we literally copied and just brought it to YouTube basically. Um, they wanted to work with them, but they're like they can't produce. They're basically trying to make like four like cartoon videos like what we do basically, but
Ads.
ads,
Yeah.
with dermatologists instead of like Dylan and Henry. But they want like that fun like crazy vibe animated stick figure stuff like that. And so they'd go to Big Weird World, but they're like, hey, they literally can't produce the quantity of videos that we want to do. So we like have to go to an agency, but agencies also suck at this. It's like the only people in the world that could do this is Dylan and Henry with their company Clipped. So it's kind of like the perfect world. It's basically like it's one of those choice not comparison things. It's like there's no comparison with this. It's just do you want to do the Dylan and Henry deal or not? And it's like okay, if they don't, they're going to scrap this campaign and do something totally different. Um, but ideally they do, and then it's a big budget, so we're super excited about it, and then blow it out of the water, and a bunch of other brands come to us too, versus like us knocking on doors and stuff like that. But it's also annoying because like we kind of got our foot in the door with Gary Vee, and then they like shut us down because their social media isn't working. I feel like I feel like we might have approached that wrong too, in a sense, where like we went to the thing that doesn't make them money versus Sarah V. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars because they're ads and ads make money.
Yeah. So what do you mean in the case of Gary Vee?
I mean, he makes $350 million. I don't think any of that really comes from V Friends. So it's like, what if
Right.
we pitched him?
Right. And so you're saying, right, our foot in the door with Gary Vee was animating for V Friends.
Right.
And they were like we don't really need this right now because it's not really working and we're restructuring.
But it's silly because
But
we're fucking silly putty. We can mold to whatever. We just have the best animators and editors in the world, and like we have great creative talent. It's just like
hmm.
they need that. Just fucking we're restructuring VFriends, so we don't need it for that product. Um, so it'd be helpful if we knew more about like what their agency does. Like maybe Coca-Cola wants to do a super cool animated campaign, and they're like, we can't do this in house. Like our animators aren't good enough. It's like, oh, fucking Dylan and Henry. So something cool that might work is like if we do this with CeraVe, and then we can come back to them and be like, hey, FYI, we just did this campaign with CeraVe, who's like 2 floors down in the same building as you. Uh, if you guys have similar companies, happy to do that. Granted, it's going to take 3 months till we do that project, so it's kind of fucking annoying. But like, maybe there's a way for us to ping that beforehand.
The boys go big league.
Yeah, yeah.
Big league. Let me see what other
You
threads I
got
got.
goo? Fucking start with business.
Oh, do I got goo? I got Ed Latimore goo.
Oh, you still talking to him?
No, but this is let me try and recollect on the fly here because this is an interesting binge bank thing. I think I was just sitting around over the weekend and I basically on all of my old vlogs have this like Google Voice business number that I just put in the description because like honestly I don't remember why, but I was like fuck it, like I'll talk to some kind of like super fans if they want to
You
reach
were
out,
lonely.
and it's the
Well,
dirtiest
you
dude
used
that
to
usually
take like
reaches out.
random calls like every day.
Yeah,
Just like, hey guys, I'm hanging
yeah, I
out.
would kind of like
Fucking got nothing better
I
to
would hold
do.
office hours. Yeah.
I mean, it's
That
worked
was
out.
cool. It was kind of like a do the things that don't scare. I just thought it'd be cool to dude, I thought it'd be like really cool. Well, one, I thought doing a lifestyle vlog would work. And then two, I thought
Yeah.
it'd be so cool if like, like this is a two-way street. Here we are, 2 years later, lifestyle vlogs stupid as fuck all get out. and we post and ghost. I don't want to talk to anybody. Let me make my art and leave. So that was kind of confusing time. But look at this. Looky here. I get a text over the weekend. Wait, let me read it verbatim. Um, dude, and this isn't
Well,
the first time this has
for
happened. I get
context,
a
Ed
text. Yeah, what?
Latimore was this dude we found literally when we started creating content on the floor, and he talked about the crackhead hustle on Twitter, and it was like, dude, a fucking crackhead, like if they need to make $600 to like get a hit today, they're gonna figure out how to make $600. So like all you entrepreneurs, you gotta have crackhead hustle, and we're like, yeah, crackhead hustle. That's our fucking crackheads. We're crackheads, dude.
Well, and he did the math. He was like, the crack high is, this was funny, like, because I don't think we knew, but the crack high is 20 minutes. And he's like, coming down off of that high is like being dragged through the gates of hell for
Talk
the
about
rest of the day. And
troughs, dude. The gates of hell,
yeah.
or whatever.
And so he does the math and he's like, the typical crackhead makes 6 figures a year based on their crack addiction. So he's like, how are you? Like the Ivy League, whoever, like, how are you? How do you not have the crackhead hustle? Like, whatever. But anyway, I made a vlog about it. That vlog got 50 views back in the day. And out of the blue, this weekend, I get a text, yo, is this really Henry Belcaster? If so, well, first of all, if so, that's dirt. Because he says,
What?
if so, this is Ed Latimore. But
It
you're
wouldn't
Ed
be if
Latimore, whether
no,
I'm Henry
no. He
or
doesn't
not.
want a random Jan to know who it is.
Right. I I found your video based on my "How to Hustle Like a Crackhead" article. Great work, man. Haha. And then I see he followed me on Twitter. I was basically like, "Holy shit, it's the real Ed Latimore," and I got texting with him. And it turns out, because then I subscribed to him on YouTube. I gave him some advice. He was super thankful because he's just not doing the right thing on YouTube. It's kind of painful. And um like 6 hours later, he comes out with a new vlog that is like the crackhead hustle or whatever. So I deduced he was basically doing like keyword research for his video
Ah,
to see like how he should market his video,
and
title
you're
and
the
thumbnail.
top result,
And he
huh?
came across my stupid, yeah. Well, the only dude who's making videos about what, like, if I search the crackhead hustle, I don't know what comes up, but it's got to be one of one my video.
Yeah. So you're friends now? Is that what's going on?
Well, it's me and then him, but crackhead hustle from 15 years ago. There's a guy throwing a crackhead. That's a classic.
Well, that was like
When crackhead thinks your house is hers, that can't be good.
no, dude,
Kicking out
get out
crackhead
of
from
there,
my
dude.
dollar store.
What are you doing?
We gotta just,
I don't know.
it's just not.
Dude, you've gone too deep on a podcast.
I'm out, dude.
Um, that's how you
So
get
that's the
sucked in.
kind of binge bank stuff that happens when you leave strange breadcrumbs on the internet.
Yeah. I've gone back and forth on the binge bank. Like for a while, I thought it was just fugazi, where it's just like a funny term we made up, and like people believe it, but it doesn't actually work. But then I realized like shit actually works, and I'll go through other people's binge banks and just like once I find someone I like, I just like actually just rip through everything.
Yeah, I'm torn. Like, I kind of hate it. I can't go back and watch a single video. I watched the crackhead hustle because I was so curious. Most painful thing I've ever had to do in my entire life.
Yeah.
Other than, what was I doing the other day that was so difficult? I forget. I was texting you about it. Hardest thing I ever did. Um, but yeah, so I go
Oh,
back and forth. Like, what part of me wants to delete everything in the binge bank, and then a part of me is like, no, I mean, it's part of the story and it's interesting. What was I texting you? The hardest thing I ever had to
it
do,
was so stupid,
and
dude.
it.
It was moving the clipped button on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh my god, dude, the watermark on our videos for clip.co, which we're testing,
uh,
because dude, I can't even get into it.
well,
The safe
basically
zones
on
for
all our
TikTok and Instagram,
shorts,
they always move around.
yeah, that doesn't matter. It was tough for you, but basically, like we want to have a little sponsored like watermark on all our videos because they get so many views. It's like, oh, where do we want to put it? Probably like right over the like button. So the people that are most into the video, they're going to hit like and they see like, oh, this video was edited by Clipped. Okay. And then, fucking 1% of them are actually interested in a video editor and find
Can
their
I
way.
make clear, like, that seems like a great idea. The way you talk about it, it's like a great idea. Uh, that, like, we didn't just think of that. Like, we just, like, what am I trying to say? Basically, like, it was a happy accident in the sense that, like, I tried the watermark in a couple places. You were like, "You should put it at the top," and I did, and it was really big, and it, like, covered my eyes, and I kinda hated that. And then I just made it really small and put it over on the right where all the other buttons are in socials,
Mm,
and, like, it looked great, and it made complete sense that it should be over the like button.
right.
So it's kinda this, like, post hoc, like,
Well, it's just like
I don't know, you just kinda gotta, like, do shit, and
make it look
then
like a button.
it's a classic iteration. But that's
Yeah.
what pisses me off about
Oh.
high school English class, dude.
Oh fuck.
When we're trying to do all this we're trying to do all this, like, post hoc symbolism bullshit, and I think Paul Graham had this essay once about writing, but it's like, these guys were not thinking the symbolism and motifs we're picking apart, and they weren't thinking about that.
Mm,
They were just writing shit that they liked.
right. Well, I even
My
think
bad,
about
dude.
that when we do breakdowns of ourselves. I'm like, wow, we don't. I don't think we really think about this stuff this much. But like some of it's just like we thought about it in the past, and now it's
No, the
intuition.
fundamentals,
But this is
um
this is a big Taleb thing on why he liked the Romans more than the Greeks. Because the Greeks, they were like these philosophical folks. They were like very heady, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna like get the theory perfect and like philosophize and everything." Versus the Romans were like, "Hey, dude, we're just gonna fucking build some aqueducts. We don't know how math works, but like if it falls down, we're just gonna
dude,
build it different."
Roman,
Yeah,
right here.
fucking Roman, dude.
Bellcaster, Roman.
Yeah. So that's that, dude.
Ooh, hit me with some goo, and then
Yeah.
we'll get out of here on a Friday.
Um.
You must have some. Well, you got your snuffleupagus,
Yeah, I'm still not over
which is
that.
never fun.
Um. My dad. Do we ever want to talk about the mystery of David Sachs?
Oh,
Is that too
oh,
much? Is that too
this
much?
would be a good time to talk about it. Just packed deep, deep, deep in a random episode. I don't know.
We could
I
also
don't know.
talk
I have
about
to be in the
toxic
right mood to do that
relationships.
deposition.
Uh,
Oh,
um,
oh,
well, part of my
oh,
trough.
oh. The Sean. Yeah, give me. Well, yeah, yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
to
Give me
do.
your trough.
Part of my trough was Sean Puri basically hyped us up for an hour. We got stoked. We shot a podcast, all sick and over the moon awesomeness. And then the next day, I realized I'm never getting out of clipped, and I'm like, Sean told me my one true purpose in life was to not do clipped, and now I'm doing clipped. So let me fucking jump out a window. Um, so that was a big dissonance in my head. We bounced back, right? I'm like still excited. I'm like I'll do it in a month or whatever. It's fine. But now I'm like I continue with Sean, and I'm like sending him like related textbook like Tim Urban talking about how textbooks like if aliens
Yeah,
had textbooks they'd
you're
be the
just like
same. Yeah.
engage with me here.
I'm like you were so stoked yesterday and then all of a sudden you just fucking gone with the wind. Absolutely toasted. He's gone. Just it's like my
He
father gave
said,
birth to me and now he disappeared.
dude, it's so toxic. It's so toxic. Comes in, gasses you up, changes. I think this is why I had so many kind of like yellow flags going into it. I was just like, I kind of knew when we were on this gas up call that in the back of my head, I'm like, tomorrow, nothing is going to be different. We're going to continue on the path we're on, and this guy's going to be gone with the wind. Um, I don't know how you can go from texting us like, I will do this and I will invest today, and then you try and engage on the same idea the next day and one day after, and
Well, he had a
gone with the wind.
podcast because they similarly had a podcast the day after because he was stoked because it was like a really fun event in his life and it was spontaneous. So they shot a podcast on it. We shot a podcast on it. Different perspectives, but like his version, they talk about how he lives this like calendar free life and he can just like do these random 1 hour calls because it's open. Um, but on that, he's talking about how like even when he invests in a company, like the the CEO, the founder of the company will hit him up and be like, "Hey, dude, can we grab a coffee? Like, I'm having some trouble with the business." And he's like, "I don't really want
Doesn't
to."
respond,
Yeah, just like ghost.
or doesn't want to
Right, right. And he's like,
ghost them,
"Well,
and
that's a
then
fucking red
the
flag."
the CEO emails back like, "Hey, dude, to be honest, like, thought it would be kinda normal for my investor to grab 10-minute coffee with me, like, that kinda peeved me." And Sean
Right.
was like, "That is the trade-off that comes with this kinda." But I don't know, dude, it
Well,
doesn't
I guess my
it works for
takeaway,
him,
it works for him, and he
but at
probably has
what
friends.
cost?
I just think, like, really, if you have a family, I think you just don't give a fuck about anything or anyone. Like, if you got a couple binks
You
at
got your
home,
core.
you got your wife and your wife's family, your family, like, if you really like your family, the world doesn't matter. You can just ghost people. Like, I was peeved because I just want to react. I'm like, just hit me with a heart, dude. Let me know you're here. And then he's gonna come out of the woodworks and fucking gas me up. But but no, I think
It's
it's
a
just like,
chip, dude. It's a little chip you can put on your shoulder,
ah,
and one of these days, you'll show him that he missed out by not reacting
ugh,
to your bids of engagement.
chocolate chip. Gardaloo,
Gardeloo!
dude. How? Why is Gardaloo so windy, dude?
It's so dird.